OnSide SA. Budge and I and our legend overseas, Stevie B, are going to run through what's been happening worldwide. World Club Soccer we've had. We're still doing the American League and is it the Swedish League?
Swedish
It's the Swedish League.
Yeah.
But it's starting to build up now. Just before we speak to Steve, transfers are taking place.
Yeah.
Build up towards the
the clubs are now
community
going on tours. So they're all travelling, so they all want to get their squads right. So a lot of talk in the newspaper, Paul. So next week, hopefully there's more signings.
Yeah, we can go through the transfers next week. But it's always good to follow. I try and follow it all the time. I see we got kudos to him if we get him.
Good player.
But that's the story. But Budge, let's go to you and Steve, maybe. World Club. I couldn't believe the score. I fell asleep. I didn't watch the game with PSG. They're the best team in the world.
Paul, we saw in the Champions League, they destroyed Liverpool, even though they lost 1-0. Went to Anfield and won, beat Arsenal, Aston Villa. The final was a mismatch.
Don't Spurs have to play them?
They play them in a couple of weeks' time. So
we can't lose.
You can't lose. 4-10 PSG. Start banking the money now. But
Steve, you're listening.
You never know. But Steve, I thought Chelsea deserved to go through.
Yeah, I mean, look, they had the easier of the draw without question.
Yeah.
But having watched last night, I mean, PSG completely blew Real Madrid away. It was all over in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, amateurish defending by Madrid. I mean, you just wonder what on earth is going on. They were so lackadaisical in the first sort of 15 minutes or so, and PSG took advantage. And, in the end, it could have been any score really. But look, they're the team of the year, aren't they? Without doubt.
Yeah. Well, Caicedo, he's got an injury. If he doesn't play, it'll be another result. Even if he does play, it's hard to look past PSG. But my opinion with PSG, if you don't go man for man in the midfield, Cole Palmer will stand watching the game. They'll get slaughtered again.
How quickly do they pass the ball?
Outstanding. How nobody signed that Georgian Kvaratskhelia, whatever his name is. Yeah. Whoever those scouts are in the Premiership, I don't know what they're looking at because he is some player. But it's Sunday, 9 o'clock our time. I think it's 8 o'clock your time, Steve.
8 o'clock our time.
Yeah, where are they playing? Is it in New York again?
Yeah, they're playing at the MetLife Stadium again.
Yeah, New England, So should be a good game. 9 o'clock, it should be a good game till the half an hour's gone. But, I heard a great comment from one of the guys. He said they are in the now, PSG, where clubs like Man City and also Real Madrid, in fairness to them, they still Barcelona, growing into the competition, trying to get their sides worked out. But PSG is one of the best sides I've seen in a long time, Paul.
I watched the show, Steve. I don't know if you're watching a show called Quarterbacks Part 2. And there's three great quarterbacks that they're talking about. And the one guy, I think his name's Joe something, he's ringer for Dawson. Remember our centre-half, Dawson? Go have a look at it, Budge. It's a great 4-5 part. It's called Quarterback. I loved every moment of it because it shows the ups and downs.
Yeah.
But every time I saw him, at first I saw this Chad Leclerc. No, it's Dawson. No. It's Dawson.
Dawson.
Yeah, he's a pundit now, Dawson.
Yeah, he was Notts Forest. I remember my boy gave him a roasting. Big George Komati Kouros, Preston Notts Forest on Friday night.
Okay.
Never won ahead of Dawson. Preston rolled him. Can't believe it. But anyway, Dawson, he's actually quite good on TV, Paul.
Yeah,
I've listened to him.
He's English. He speaks English like Stevie B.
Stevie B. Steve, MLS again. There were a couple of games last night. Inter Miami won 2-1 and Los Angeles won 3-0. Yeah, there were some cup games, but it's hard to know what sides they played. But we'll get the betting up now, Steve. But the first game we got up is Charlotte against New York City. I can't believe the betting here, Steve. I fancy the away side. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, neither are having a particularly good season. Charlotte have lost 3 of their last 4. So New York City, they're just in the top half. Again, not having the best season, but you'd think that they would probably start as favourites, though. Yeah,
I think 5-2 is a superb bet. I looked at the win and draw. That was 9-10, but I went for New York City to score over 1.5 goals at 15-10. I like that bet. Cincinnati Columbus, Steve, top against 4th. I'm on the home team. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, look, they've won 4 in a row. They're top. You'd expect them to continue their home form and win that. Columbus are not a bad side. Yeah. They draw a lot. They don't lose many at all. Yep. They're unbeaten in the last 4. So I think this will be a tight game. You fancy Cincinnati, but Columbus could hold them.
Yeah, I think there'll be goals in this. I started with over 2.5 goals, both teams to score, yes, at a shade over 8 to 10. You know, I've got money with Cincinnati over the last couple of weeks, but Columbus are in decent form. It'll be a closer game than the betting suggests. Into Miami, Steve. Good result in New England last night. Since they were outplayed by PSG like the rest of them, they've been in great form. I think even money is a decent price, even though Nashville are one of the better sides in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, look, they've both come into the game 4 wins each in a row. But I mean, you know, if you look at the league table, obviously Inter Miami have got these 3 games in hand.
Yeah.
They'd go top if they won them. They've obviously got a bit of catch up to do, and you wonder, you know, in the heat, especially playing at home, whether, you know, the Messi and Busquets and players like that can actually last 90 minutes. So, but I think a big game like this, I think the big guns will play, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if Inter Miami win this and start sort of putting pressure on the teams above them.
Yeah, I took even money into Miami. Plus, the other bet I like is 21 to 10 into Miami to win, and both teams to score 21 to 10. They can't defend into Miami, but there'll be 3 or 4 goals guaranteed in this game. The next game, Steve, Orlando City against Montreal. Surely Orlando City have got to get a result here.
Certainties.
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean, Montreal obviously are still to the bottom of the table,
Yeah.
few points adrift, so you'd expect Orlando, a bit up and down season, but you would expect them to be too strong.
Yeah, another game I went home win and both teams to score 19 to 10. Montreal score, but they concede, so Orlando City all over. There was a game last night in the Cup. Philadelphia at home to the New York Red Bulls, and the game got postponed. So I wonder what the weather situation is going to be like on Sunday, but it'll more than likely be a lot better. Steve, the home side, coached by a South African. You'll remember him, Paul, played left back for Bidvest, Bradley Cornell.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He's in charge, Philadelphia. They have lost their last 2, but that's away from home.
Yeah.
I think they'll get back to winning ways. Do you agree?
Bradley Connell played for
Yeah, I think so. You know, they are strong at home, and they'd won a few at home before that. So, you know, and they're they're in 3rd place, just a couple of points adrift. So
Yeah.
I think I'd fancy the home side there.
Yeah, on to our second page, and we've got 2 struggling sides, Toronto versus Atlanta. How do you see it going?
Yeah, I mean, this is a hard one to call. I mean, Toronto, again, both of them. Atlanta had a little run recently, but since then they've lost 3 and drawn. You know, again, I'd probably give home advantage, but I don't think there'd be much in it.
Yeah, I think the draw 26 to 10 is a lively play, but Atlanta have the worst home record in the league, 3 draws and 7 defeats in their 10 away games. So surprising Toronto aren't favourites, but to me, 2 poor sides, the draw looks a likely way. That's if you want to have a bet in that particular clash. Austin against New England, Steve. New England consort lost 2-1 last night to Lionel Messi's team. Can they rebound at Austin?
It'd be tough because I think Austin are pretty decent at home.
Yeah.
So, and New England not having the best season. They've lost 4 of their last 5. So probably just sort of. I think the home side might just edge it.
Yeah, they got through in the Cup on Tuesday night. They won on penalties in San Jose, so they'll be cock a hoop. Just never know, Austin. I've never caught them draw too many times. Every time I go for them, but of the 2 sides, they look the right side. Home win and draw for me. Chicago against San Diego, Steve. I was on San Diego at home last week. They'd won 4. The league's top goal scorers, they scored 3. Unfortunately, Portland scored 4. I couldn't believe it. They got beat 4-3 at home. Chicago got beat by Minnesota in the Cup on Tuesday night. You know, San Diego, top of the Western Conference, 15 to 10. Doesn't look a bad price, Steve.
No, I think you're right. And in fact, they'd won 4 in a row before that game the other night. Portland are a decent side. Chicago, it's hard to catch them. I mean, obviously, they had that huge win at DC, but since then they've lost 3 or 4. So they score a lot of goals, but they concede. I fancy San Diego. I think you know, when you look at the league table, you'd think that they would have been almost odds on, let alone 15 to 10. So I think there's value there.
Yeah, they average over 2.5 goals a game. So if you are looking for an easy bet, take the over 2.5 goals at 6.5 to 10. But if you're a bit brave like Steve, San Diego 15 to 10 is definitely worth considering. Minnesota at home to San Jose, Steve. I'm all over the home team. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, they're having a decent season. I mean, they're sitting in sort of 3rd place, only a couple of points behind San Diego. So I fancy the home side there.
Yeah, Sporting Kansas City against Seattle. I was on Seattle last week. They were my best bet. They ended up drawing 1-1. Apparently it was a cracker of a game. Going to Sporting Kansas City, but in and out, 11 to 10's a bit short, Steve, but they do definitely look the right side.
Yeah, I think so. I think Seattle should be too strong, but Sporting, they've unbeaten in the last 3, so they could hold them.
Yeah, but we're on to the last page of the MLS, and we've got Colorado at home against Vancouver. Vancouver had a nightmare stretch. I know a couple of main players are back from the Gold Cup final. Not a bad price, Vancouver, Steve. I know that's your team in the MLS. Can you see them getting a result?
Yeah, I mean, they were clear at the top, and all of a sudden they've lost 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I think they should bounce back. I mean, Colorado, having a pretty poor season by their own standards, lost the last couple. I fancy the away side though, but I wouldn't be putting money on it necessarily.
Yeah, definitely the right way to go. Vancouver struggling of late. Real Salt Lake against Houston. Houston was a team that went to San Diego and scored 4 goals when they won 4-3. Can they cause another upset?
They could do. I mean, Real Salt Lake, again, having a poor season, but 1-2 and drawn 1 of their last 3. So they've obviously got a little bit of form, whereas Houston have won their last couple. So I think Houston's certainly favourites, but it could be close.
Yeah, goals definitely looks the right way to go in that particular clash. Steve, LA Galaxy seem to have turned the corner. They've won their last 2 at home. You think this is number 3?
It could be, but it's hard. Just when we thought that they weren't going to win a game, all of a sudden they get a couple of big wins. So, at home they're always going to. I think they're probably going to start as favourites.
Yeah, they beat Vancouver 3-0, so they look like they've turned the corner. DC United, they got beat 5-2 by Nashville in the Cup, so I can't have them. Los Angeles, who I think will be the team to beat in the entire competition, 4-10 short. But I think they'll be too good for Dallas, Steve.
Yeah, I think so. They had a good win last night, although having said that, their opponents had a player sent off in the first 10 minutes. So I guess that, obviously sort of swung it in their favour.
Yeah, they got rid of Oliver Giroud. He left after the World Club. Yeah. I don't know where he's gone, but he's not in LA. And last but not least, Steve, St. Louis, who are ranked the worst team in the MLS, at home against Portland. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if Portland had a great win last week, you'd expect them to go and get another result this week, I think.
Yeah, 17-10 is definitely worth considering, especially for a Sunday night game. On to Sweden, and you won't believe it, but there's been Champions League, Europa Conference League qualifying games, Paul. So several of 1 or 2 of these teams are involved. But first came up, the team that's caught us lately, Steve, Elfsborg. I watched the highlights because I backed them the other day. They had 15 corners. The other team never had one. You could not believe the stats. They lost 2-0. I saw the highlights of the game. I just could not believe it. IFK Gothenburg going well. They won 4 out of 5.
Elfsborg a better position in the league.
Yeah, I mean, look, Elfsborg have won in 3, lost 2 or 3 before that. They were on a great run.
Yeah.
As you say, IFK having a good run. They won 4 or 5. So, I think give them a chance. I think IFK, definitely.
Yeah, this could go either way. I think the right way to go is goals. But I've backed them twice in the last 3 and they've cost me money, so they won't have another cent from me. Malmo, who won 3-1 in the Champions League on Tuesday night against a disappointing Norrköping team. Steve, if Malmo don't put 2 or 3 past Norrköping, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're not having the best season in the league, but they had a good win in the Champions League, you said, during the week. I'd expect them to win that comfortably. Yeah, I took
11-10 Malmo to win by more than 1. Biggest club in the world, Broma Pochkana against Osters. They've won their last 2, Broma Pochkana. I went for Norrköping on Monday night to beat them. What a mistake. They scored late and won 1-0.
But you actually lost all 4.
That's their last home form, but they won their last 2 away from home.
Okay, got you.
But Osters, another team that's struggling. Can Broma make it 3 in a row?
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean, Oster, having said that, they are near the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
But they went 5 unbeaten until they lost last week. But I think Broma Pochkana should be favourites.
Yeah, Gothenburg side, over 240 teams. Unbelievable. Then Gaze Gothenburg in form against Hammarby, a side that's sitting in third. I fancy the away team here, Steve, but how do you see it?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, they won 4 in a row and they don't concede. I was just looking at their record. They've only conceded 9 in 15 games. Gaze are having a decent season, but they draw more than they anything else. I think this will be a tight game, but I just fancy Hammarby.
Yeah, win and draw Hammarby in your exotics on Sunday. On to our final page, and we've got ARK Stockholm versus Degerfors. I've had a bet in this game, Steve. I dived in early. I'm on the home team. Which way do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, AIK should be clear favourites. Having said that, they've lost a couple recently, but they should be clear favourites. I mean, Degerfors are not having a good season.
Yeah,
Degerfors. So they've lost. I think they've lost 4 or 5 in a row. So I'd definitely go with that.
Yeah, the bet I took it was just a shade under 5-1. I went over 2.5 goals. Both teams to score no. The last time they played at home, ARK Stockholm, they had a comfortable victory against a decent side. Degerfors are woeful. I think this is a 3-4-0 job. So over 2.5 goals, both teams to score no. 5-10, the home team, I think, is a gift. AFK Banamo, a side that haven't won in 14 league games. Wow. They have drawn their last 3 at home. Can they upset Djurgårdens, who got to the semi-final of the Europa Conference League?
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I mean, Djurgården played again, I think, in the week in Europe, but I expect them to go and get a result. I mean, Van Armo, as you say, they have drawn at home and they had a good draw recently against one of the big teams. But they're bottom for a reason, and they're, as you say, 14 without a win. I fancy the away side.
Yeah, only scored 5 goals in those 14 games. If Djurgårdens score, they'll win. BK Häcken at home against Halmstad. Steve, how do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, Häcken played during the week. I mean, they're having a disappointing season compared to previous years, but they should be a little bit too strong for Halmstad. Halmstad either sort of win or lose. They don't draw many games, so I think just about go with the home side. Yeah,
6-10, the home side should be on all your multiples. And on Monday night, Mjalby here top of the league, 9-10 at home against Sirius, Steve, away from home.
Ken Mjalby.
Oh yeah, for me, Mjalby all day long. I mean, Sirius are seriously having a poor season, and Mjalby 1 defeat in 15. 9-10 is great value, I think.
Yeah, only thing that could snare them is if they don't score, but I don't see Sirius scoring. So Mjalby 9-10 Monday night. If you do fancy a punt, that's your bet. Steve, pressure time as always. Need your best bet and value bet.
Yeah, there's quite a few, I think, I was looking at, but I'm actually going to go with Mjalby. I think, top of the table, 1 defeat, they should be winning that. Yeah. And actually, value, I'm going to go with San Diego. I think that they're top for a reason, and I think 15-10 are reasonable odds for a team top of the table.
Yeah, I went into Miami even money. I waited to make that decision just to see how they went last night. Messi scored 2 goals.
Did he score both?
Scored them both. They were 2-0 up, and they made a few changes. The team scored late. So I'm on into Miami at home. And even though they did get murdered by PSG, they showed a lot of fight. And they've come back. They've won all their, I think it's 4 games since they've come back. Nashville, decent side, but I'm all over Messi's side. And I'm chancing New York City, Steve. Just think the other team, Charlotte, are terrible. Decent home form over the season, but they've lost 4 or 6 and 5-2. I'm going to chance them on Saturday night.
When does the championship start in England?
Charlotte been without Tim Ream, who
That's right.
Went from Fulham, but he's been playing in the Gold Cup. So whether or not he's 36 or 37 he is now, make a difference in the defence for them, we'll see.
Yeah, it's like Seattle.
Stevie, we've got you quite early in the league, haven't we?
Tottenham Fulham, isn't it your first home game?
No. The Tottenham are home to Burnley, is it first off?
Yeah, Burnley and City away.
We're Brighton away, but then our first home game is United, which has just been moved for the Sunday afternoon. Okay. So it'll be on telly at 5:30 your time.
Okay, I just want to let you know, Steve, when Spurs come to play Fulham, you won't score. Listen to these centre halves we've got. Christian Romero, 27. Kevin Danso, 26. Mickey van der Ven, 24. Radu Dragerson, 23. Kota Takai 20, Ashley Phillips 20, Alfie Dorrington 20, and Lusa Viskovic 18. We've got some defenders.
You're going to play them all?
No, but we can rotate because we get injuries.
They're going to park the bus.
Park the bus.
Tottenham are going to have a much.
Park the bus at Fulham.
Stevie V, you little beauty.
Steve, thanks again. By the way, you did tip the 9-2 finalists before, so well done on that,
done,
Chelsea and PSG.
Well done,
What's your final call, Steve? What do you think of the score be?
I think it has to be PSG based on what I've seen. I think Chelsea will score, but I think PSG, for me, 3-1.
You like 3-1. I think that was about 12-1 that score. And I think it'll be 3-0. But anyway, Steve, enjoy it, and we'll speak over the weekend.
Cheers, Steve.
Yeah, we will. Cheers. Bye, Paul.
Bye-bye. Right, Butch, tell me your bets. You're thinking for the bets.
Yeah, we've got the exotics first up, and start off with a soccer 6 on a Saturday. I've got in the field in the IFK Gothenburg versus Elfborg's clash. Likewise, the FC Copenhagen Hamburger SV friendly. 2 bankers. Bodo Glimt and Sandefjord, and Malmo against IFK Norrköping. Siding with Fredrikstad to avoid defeat against Molde. And taking a chance, another friendly Dunfermline against Hibs. I know the betting suggests Hibs will win, Hearts will win. But I just think a desperation from the away side.
When
it may be a
does the
draw.
league start, Butch?
Scotland first week in August. So that's 2-1-6. Our second soccer 6, bit of a liquor shield. All the ladies, it's AFCON ladies. So I've got in the field in the Morocco versus Senegal game. I'm banking Denmark to beat the Polish women. Going for Rosario Central, win and draw at home against Godoy Cruz. Don't see the German ladies losing at home to Sweden. I'm going the field in the Zambia versus DR Congo match, and I'm banking International to beat Victoria 2-1-6. That's a Brazilian.
The English girls got beat first time. They're the champions.
Last time. I watched a bit of it.
Did they win last time?
Yeah, they beat the Netherlands. I saw the second goal was a screamer.
So they won, eh?
Yeah, Reece James' sister scored the first
Good player.
goal. Yeah, she can play. On to the soccer 10 for Saturday. I'm going Gimnasia La Plata, win and draw at home against Instituto ACC. New York City to avoid defeat in Charlotte. Going for Cincinnati, win and draw at home against the Columbus Crew. Philadelphia Union to be too strong at home for the New York Red Bulls in Toronto, chancing them to beat Atlanta United. On to the second page, I'm going for the New England Revolution, win and draw in Austin. Banking Minnesota to beat the San Jose Earthquakes. Seattle Sounders win and draw against Sporting Kansas City, and Vancouver Whitecaps win and draw in Colorado. And ending up with Real Salt Lake win and draw against the Houston Dynamo 2-5-6. On to the soccer 13, the big one on Saturday. I'm going for the German women's side to avoid defeat against Sweden. Banking Denmark to beat the Polish women. Malmo to beat IFK Norrköping, and Bodo Glimt in the Norwegian League to beat Sandefjord. I'm going the field in the Fredrikstad versus Molde match. Into Turku in Finland, win and draw at home against FF Jaro. Going for Flamengo, just come out the World Club to be too strong for Sao Paulo. On to the second page, another side that was in the World Club, going for Botafogo, win and draw against local rivals Vasco da Gama. Banking ARK to beat Degerfors. Brahma Pochkana, win and draw at home against Osters. The field in the Gars Gothenburg versus Hammarby game. And ending up with 2 bankers, BK Häcken against Halmstad, and siding with Djurgårdens Gardens to beat IFK Värnamo 288. On to our budgies bets for the weekend. I'm going into Miami to beat Nashville, and Orlando City to beat Montreal, and both teams to score in each game. So those sides to win and all 4 sides to score. And then I think the LA Galaxy will beat DC United 2,600 to 200. My team goal sides, I'm going Cincinnati, New York City, LA Galaxy, and San Diego, all to score over 1.5 goals. 2,500 to 200. On to Sweden, I'm going over 2.5 total goals, both teams to score no in the ARK Degerfors clash. I'm going Malmo to beat Norrköping by more than 1 goal, and I fancy BK Häcken to beat Halmstad 3,200 to 200. On to Norway, where I'm going Sarpsborg to score over 1.5 goals against Kristiansund. I'm going Rosenborg to beat HamKam and over 2.5 total goals. And on Sunday night, I'm chancing Viking FK, the league leaders, to beat Brann 2,200 to 200. Over 2.5 goals, both teams to score. Yes, the odds are shaved on all the goal markets in the America. So I'm going Cincinnati, Columbus, Chicago, San Diego, Real Salt Lake, Houston, and Sporting Kansas City, Seattle. 2,600 to 200. And Collis King, 6 on Exeter. I'm going Orlando to beat Montreal, LA Galaxy to beat DC United, ARK Stockholm to beat Degerfors, Malmo to beat Norrköping, Rosenborg to beat HamKam, and Viking FK to beat Brann. 3,400 to 200.
Coach? Sounds good. What I do like is we are moving on towards August. It's August, you know, we're going to 10th. Yeah, it's closing in, and the earliest starts will be the Scottish League and the Championship.
Yeah, they start. Well, I think the first game, well, the what do they call it now? Community Shield.
Community Shield.
Yeah, so that'll be Liverpool and Palace. That's the league open. I think that's the same weekend as the Championship starts. But the Scottish League, I think, starts a week before everybody.
Next week, we'll try and get all the transfers up to date. You know, get Steve and myself to look and see what we can do. But until then, stay on side.